All right, today we're going to take a look at some properties that recently sold at an Orange County, Florida tax sale that probably shouldn't have been purchased, at least for the prices that these folks paid. So, Orange County is in the state of Florida, like I mentioned, and it is the Orlando area. So, what you're looking at on your screen is their tax deed sale website. This is handled by a company called Real Foreclose or Real Tax Deed. Now, in the past, I've said that Orange County is not my favorite market to invest in. That's mainly because it's a big city, attracts a lot of competition. You have people bidding up the prices, pushing down the margins, and it's just not a pretty situation. With that said, I don't totally knock Orange County. You can make a lot of money. They've actually done a few videos on it recently. Let me show you. It's this one here, $337,900 profit. That came out of Orange County. This one, $355,000 is an entire case study. 16 and a half minutes long. That came out of Orange County as well. I believe this one down here where it says tax sale gold mines, $48,640 in 41 days. I believe that came out of Orange County as well. So you can make money in Orange County. Historically, however, at least on a personal level, I find that there's a lot of competition there. I've actually had a lot of tax law academy members do well there, but for whatever reason, maybe it's my style of investing, I have not done well there simply because, there's a lot of competition. So, nonetheless, you can make money, but what we're looking at today are folks that are not going to make money. And I'm using these as examples to kind of give you an idea of what not to do when you look at tax sale properties. So, let's go back a few weeks back, October the 23rd, and take a look at some of these properties that have sold. So, there's some properties here that are, decent deals. Let's take a look and see what we've got here. But we're going to get into a few that definitely were not decent deals. Yes, little old frame house here. Looks like they paid, it's not recorded yet, of course. They paid $70,000 this frame house in Mount Dora area. Whether they make money or not, I don't really know. It remains to be seen. I don't want to do the whole research thing on each one of these properties because that's not the point of the video, but people perhaps are making money there. This one here, it's some sort of condominium type unit. Yeah, condo unit, $32,200 in on South OBT. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, you got looks like some sort of condo units of some sort. Let's see if we can figure out what they are. And then we'll start looking at the properties that I know are not great deals. So it looks like they're renting for $850. 1120, 276. So maybe it's an office condo is what I'm thinking. Yeah, it looks like an office condo of some sort. $62,000 unfurnished. Don't know how old this listing is. Looks like it's been there 400 days. So yeah, it's $62,000. These folks paid $32,000. Don't know if they'll make money or not. Looks like it's maybe an area that, or at least a development you might not want to invest in. But all right, so let's skip down here and let's look at these. So the first thing I notice is a $1,200 and $1,250 assessed value. That's not, in some areas that might not be a bad deal, but $1,200 with an Orlando address kind of is a red flag to me personally. So it's probably something you want to think about, especially these folks, $5,500, $21,500. Let's look and see what we've got here. You've got, first of all, the legal script says note adverse possession. That looks a little bit weird. Without digging into the title and figure out what's going on, that's another red flag. All right, let's take a look at the property appraiser's report. All right, so we've got Deal Road vacant. Scrolling down here, let's see. Don't really see a whole lot about it. Any sales data? No sales data. Let's scroll up, take a look at the map and see what's going on with the map because we know it's a vacant piece of property. All right, so the thing I always like to do is I go to the base map and I'll turn on aerials. It gives me a better lay of the land. And this is what I suspected. So right off the bat, just looking at this, you got power lines going through 20% of the property, maybe. A power line easement, you probably can't build there. This looks wet, which makes me suspect this is wet. This whole outline of this area is probably going to be wet as well. So, you got 2/3 of the property that's wet, but I think even more so than that, um, is that there's no access to this property. There's no roads to this property whatsoever. I don't see the closest road is right here, but that's a road that just runs. It looks like a dirt trail. I mean, maybe it's for four-wheelers or hunters or something along those lines. So you got a wet property with a power line easement that you can't access. That so this person paid $5,500 for. It's not even the assessed value is probably not even worth that. They just assign those values to it. And speaking of assessed value, I've meant to mention this earlier. I don't look for that assessed value and say the property is going to be valued at whatever the assessed value is. A lot of people are on that bandwagon. That's a great way to value your properties, and you should look at this. And that's the first thing you do. The only reason I look at the assessed value personally is to raise red flags. That is low for the city of Orlando. If it's $100 in some areas, $500, whatever it is. Also, if that's at $10 million, I would say, why is it so high? I would want to know. It raises red flag. It makes you look a little bit deeper. So that's one of the properties. And I imagine the majority of the properties are in that same area. Here's 1707 Deal Road. Let me go ahead and Google this just because I'm curious. Yeah, it's literally another property in the middle of nowhere. Oops. There we go. All right. So let's go back to the property appraiser site and see what we've got here. $1,250, $1,250. No recent sales data. Really no sales data in that entire subdivision. Click on the map here. We'll change the base map to aerial. Okay, so this one does have road frontage per se. You do have trails. I don't know what a lot of people call them, but I call these two tracks. You have basically two tracks down the middle of your road here. You do front on Dill Road. I'm not sure if the property is buildable or anything else. I'd imagine it's probably too low. I see wet areas here. I see you got a pond or looks like a lake or something right there. Let me zoom out a little bit and see where this kind of get my bearings. Yeah, you got all these lots that are, and also another red flag. First off, this is all wet. You see where my cursor is going. Hopefully you can zoom in and see that. If not, this is all wet in this area that you see through here. So you got very few dry lots. Our lot that we're looking at is on the edge of it, perhaps. But secondly, and probably more importantly, there's no houses built here. So even if it's one of those deals where there was some sort of easement by prescription or easement recorded deep in county record, there's not a single house in this entire block, or this entire subdivision or whatever you want to call it, that, which leads me to believe it's not buildable. Number one, you can't access it to build. Number two, it's too wet to be built on. And I'm sure there's 3, 4, and 5 if you really would dig into this. It's a property that you just don't want to purchase. But somebody paid $21,000 for that property. Absurd. It may be 50 years from now they put roads in there, but an absolutely absurd investment. Let's go and see if we can find some more in there. Oh, goodness. And I'm not overly familiar with this area. I'm sure somebody that is familiar with the area, familiar with this subdivision, probably knows the history of it and probably knows the reason that these properties are there and there's no houses there. Here's another one. Just shooting from the hip. This is going to be wet and inaccessible. Let's take a look and see. It's not totally wet. There's a little wet area nearby, but it is definitely inaccessible. There's no roads to it. There's no physical access or legal access to this property. And then again, this is, we're talking Orange County. We're not talking a county in the middle of nowhere. We're talking about one of the most populated counties in the state of Florida. So oftentimes you'll see this kind of stuff, these properties like this, out in the middle of the desert in Arizona, or, in the middle of the Everglades or the swamps or somewhere that were developed 50, 60 years ago, right? This is in the middle of Orlando or Orange County at least. And obviously it exists. Properties like this exist everywhere. As we zoom out, we can say, yes, this is a wet piece of property. What's the city nearby here? I mean, we're Orlando Executive Airport's right here, or Orlando International Airport's right here. We're not far from civilization. It's not in the middle of nowhere. It's just that these lots in the middle of the swamp were broken up and sold at some point in the past. This person paid $6,900 for a piece of property that is not accessible, not buildable, and they can't even they can't do anything with it. Gosh, $31,000. And it's this stuff like this saddens me because this is what I worked for over a decade now to teach people not to buy this kind of stuff. This person paid $30,000 for this piece of property. Let's take a look and see. All right, so same deal. It looks like it's on Dill Road. To the base map aerial, take a look. This person has a road through their property. This is wet right here. It looks like it's wet back here. Again, though, even though if it's not wet and even though it fronts a road, there's a reason there's no building in this area. I can just about guarantee the soil doesn't perk and there's no water through here. There's not a house for miles. Okay, that was an exaggeration. There's a house on the far side of the lakes and stuff, but you're in the swamps over here. I mean, I don't know. There's not a scale on here. I was trying to. Sometimes they have a measuring feature that you can use. I was trying to find that, but long story short, you're a long ways from any houses. You're buying a lot in the middle of nowhere, and this person paid $30,000 for this. Now, I've had videos in the past. If he or she would have put that same $30,000 into a video that I just shot, I'll post it either before or right after this one. They would have turned that $30,000 into probably, with a few examples like the ones I'm showing in that video. As far as it's more or less a wins type video. But if they would put that 30,000 into those types of wins, they would have easily turned that 30 into $100,000 in less than a year. But this person puts $30,000 into this property, and the property is worthless. They're not going to be able to sell this property. If they do, it'll be to some speculator, some bottom feeder that gives them $1,000 for it. It's wild to me that people in this day and age still buy these types of properties. Let's go through and we'll look at a couple more. This it's stuff kind of really disappoints me. I'm not, and it's not a bash against these folks or anything like that. It's just, I wish that they would take the time to educate themselves. And if you're watching this video, hopefully you take the time to educate yourself, what you're doing right now, of course. Again, adverse possession, something weird going on there. We look at this property. We'll go to the map. It's going to be another one of these lots in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the swamp that you can't build on, where there's no houses for anywhere around it. This one's bigger. This is a 4-lot parcel. Has either a trail, maybe it's a dirt bike trail or 4-wheeler trail, or maybe that is a low area. It's hard to tell on this map. But again, you cannot access. There's a dirt road in this general vicinity. My thoughts are that dirt road, just the looks at it, it's an easement for the power line, folks. It's not an access road. Goodness. All right, let's go back. Let's reset on me again. Let's go back and look at a couple more, and then we'll wrap this up. Here's one. I don't know. This looks like it's a little bit different area, perhaps. Bithlow. Maybe this is in a different area. Let's check it out. We've got the person paid $7,900 for this property. Okay, so this we do have a road, at least legal road. Okay, so this is a property that has legal access, but no physical access. And again, we've had this situation before. You can't just go and take a bulldozer through there and create your own road to increase the value of your properties. This is a situation where you have to put the road in there based on the county's approval, which probably means you have to put the road all the way through and maybe other roads and stuff. It's not an investment that's worthwhile. At least this lot is not in the middle of the swamp, at least as far as I can tell. But again, there's a reason there's no houses around there. It's also only a 50-foot wide lot. So not even sure if it's buildable. All right, let's look at one or two more. We'll go to page 4. Looks like those are all redeemed. Let's see. We'll do, because I think these are all in the same area, actually. What's this one in Orlando? Fort Christmas Road, $10,100. Again, adverse possession type weird situation. We don't know what's going on with that without digging into it more. $1,300 valuation, extremely low for a property in Orange County, Florida. And what do we have here? Looks like there might be road frontage for this one. Yeah, so there is a little bit of a road. I mean, you can't build on it until the road is put in properly. So you can't build on the property, and the property might be too low to be built on, but it does front either a road or easement or something, which is a lot better than the interior lot. So we can say that at least. But I do see there's some water through here, and I don't know how to access their flood. I'm not sure if the flood plain is on here or not. Regardless, it's kind of that's just aerials. Okay, well, regardless, it's irrelevant because we know that more than likely, the whole area is low. We know that it's probably not going to pass a perk test, and even if you are allowed to, I don't know what their code is there, allowed to put a well and septic in. Probably not on properties this small, but again, the road is not built, and it is a wet piece of property. It's a low area that is unbuilt for a reason. There's a reason there's not a single home in this area. Yet people continue to buy here, and it's very sad. It's very unfortunate, but it's something that I see on a regular basis. We see person after person that is just wasted their money. 21,000, 9,000, 6,000, 30,000, 10,000, 7,600, 7,500. Any of these folks are like, we're getting great deals. We're buying lots for $6,000. No, that's not a good deal. You wasted your money. Now, maybe in 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 years, there's something they can do with these properties. They make money. But this money right here, and I don't know if these are different bidders or the same folks. I don't know anything about these people that are buying these properties. Looks like the same person buying a lot of these properties. Maybe they're trying to collect all of them. That's a different person there. So one person has bought two. These are different people. Unfortunately, these people made bad investments. Had they taken this money and put it into the other properties that I've even shown you in Orange County, where people are making a tremendous amount of money. The guy made $300,000 on a house. Another person made, I forgot what it was, in 28 days, they made like $30,000, $40,000. If they would have put that same money into those properties, those are winning investments. The people that did those investments, they knew what they were doing. They probably got training, or at the very least, they put in years and years of work to figure this business out. The people that are just clicking the mouse, buying these properties in the middle of the swamp, you're wasting your money. Learn what you are doing before you start going out there, getting click happy and buying properties. Again, if they would have taken this money, this guy right here is $7,600. He could have made $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 off that money very, very easily. And I've given examples on this channel in the past week that have shown people that have taken that same money, $7,000, and they've doubled their money, or they've made $5,000, $6,000 off of it after all of the expenses. So you can take low dollar amounts, and you don't have to put them in swamp lots that are not worth anything. You can put them into properties that will make you money. You just have to take the time to learn what you are doing. Again, this really, really upsets me because I've spent more than 13 years of my life trying to educate people so they don't make mistakes like this. But people do it time and time again. Folks, if you're looking to learn, you're in the right place. You've come to the right channel. Watch these videos. I've got thousands of videos here on YouTube. If you want more comprehensive training, grab my book, Tax Sale Playbook. It's completely free. Just cover the nominal shipping cost of less than $5, which goes right to the United States Postal Service to get that book from my warehouse to your front door. I'm not trying to give you a sales pitch or anything like that, but if you want the most comprehensive advanced training that we offer, taxsaleacademy.com is where it's at. Or if you want to just join our community, there's a link down below for that as well. But again, you don't have to pay me anything. Watch these YouTube videos that I've put out there. I've been putting out there for many, many years, and hopefully it'll help you avoid mistakes like these folks made. That's all I've got for today, folks. Take care, and I wish you much success in your tax sale investing journey. Bye-bye.